Hello everybody. In this video, we are going to see about limit and aliases in SQL. Basically, whenever we retrieve any data, suppose there are hundreds of records or thousands of records or even millions of records, and we just wanted to retrieve some few records, or maybe we just wanted to limit some records to some extent, then we can use limit clause to just restrict some, let's say, 5 records, limit 5, and we will say like if I try to run it now, you can say only 5 records are getting retrieved, whatever the top 5 records. So let's say we wanted to retrieve the data, maybe top 5 oldest people or whatever the age. Then what we can do, we can just do one thing is we can just order by age, and probably we can, as we wanted to get the oldest people from this employee demographics, we can just use this descending sort, and then we can run it. So what will happen? You can see that from highest age we see the results, and likewise. So this is something which is we can do restrict the data, or we can just limit our result or records from the select clause. Then is there is one more thing, like let's say I wanted to display out of this, let's say from third records, one, two, three, third records, so whatever the results after that. What I can do is I can put after third, I can put one record I wanted to display. Let's say, so you can see this 43 records. So again, what was the result earlier? The third record is 44. So if I put uh, 3 comma 1, like it will start, and after that, after third record, fourth record should display like this. So it is, suppose I'm making 3 comma 2, then the 2 records after that a particular third row. So this is something which is we can use this limit to restrict the data or to display the records as we want. Then there is another concept of alias, which is something which is very interesting, and which will simplify our SQL queries or whatever, whenever we write some complex queries, uh, to make our queries simpler, there these aliases will be used. Now remember we learned earlier in the session how we can aggregate data or how we can use it. So that is something which is let's say gender, and then from by demographics. Okay, and we say group by gender. So this is something which is we have done, and aggregate functions. Let's say average age we are doing. So when we get this data, we are getting like this result. And now let's say I have requirement of having clause. So in the previous session, we saw how having can restrict the records in aggregated data. So we can write like average age, whatever it is here. The same thing we are writing here, and greater than 40. So who are having average age of 40, just display it. So you can see one record. Now what happened? How the aliases can be useful? Now this is something which is here we have written, and again we have written here. So what else we can do? We can give as here like this or like this. That's fine. And we can say avg age like this. And then this aliases. So for this calculation, this aggregate function, this is an alias. So what we can do, instead of this again writing a function, aggregate function, we can just write it here and run it. So now we are getting the same result. Now you can see the name has been changed. So this is the way we can actually give an alias to the aggregated functions or any other column. For this as well, if I wanted to do some other name as some other name, that also we can give it like this. You can see this name has been changed. But this is not relevant actually, but I'm just showing you how we can do this. So this is the way. Instead of as, we can keep like this as well. That's okay. You can see. So basically, we can do like this as well. That's okay. Like this. So this is something which is we can do in MySQL. This is how we can use limit and analysis in MySQL. Congratulations for completing this beginner SQL series. Now we are going to see intermediate SQL series where we are going to table joins, aggregated functions, and window functions, etc.